Let's go. Yes, let's go. Come on. Ready. Let's go. Double kills. Let's go, boy. Diamond launches, you don't know. Yo, what is good? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you have an amazing day. We are back with another how-to video. Before it was how to get SMGs in gold. Now we are bringing you the launchers. So I'm bringing you my top 5 tips on how to get these guns in diamond. The launchers are two of the hardest guns to get gold in this game. So hopefully my tips can help you get through all this stress. So, tip number 1 is leveling up your weapon. Now, this is really important because a lot of the camos tie in together. So, for example, we've got psychedelic, classic, and spray camos. These are the ones that involve the kills, the double kills, the 2 kills without dying, etc. And then we have the stripes, the geometric, flora, and the science. These ones are your equipment, your score streaks, and your vehicles. So the reason why it's important to level these guns up to level 30 is because that is when the last camo is unlocked. You do not want to be prancing around in multiplayer, trying to level up the gun, and not being able to unlock the camos as efficiently as possible. Because if you hit that double kill or get that aerial score streak, you're going to feel real shit about it because you haven't made any progress towards the camos and you've just done that in a regular game. So what I'm suggesting is you just go straight into zombies and you do not leave zombies until you've got level 30 on both of those weapons. Or at least one of them, depending on which one you're doing first. If you have a double weapon XP token, stick that on because obviously that's going to help it go a lot quicker. But yeah, this is the first thing you do to be as efficient as possible. Tip number 2 is choosing the right class setup. A class setup can be important in helping you through these challenges. So this is probably what your class setup should be looking like. So primary weapon, doesn't matter, you can ignore that. So your secondary is going to be the RPG or the Sigma. And then we go straight to the tacticals, which I've put smokes. I put smokes over stims just because the smokes enable me to get across the map a lot easier. If you're in hardcore, it's a real bitch trying to get from one side of the map to the other and you're just getting shot down all the time. So next we got the lethals, which we have used Semtexes. Did use the Semtexes for 2 reasons. The first reason was when I was using the Sigma, I used to throw the Semtex near an enemy's foot and then shoot him straight after with the rocket. And sometimes I would get a kill. It was a bit of a ball ache. Definitely not the most efficient way to do it, but that's how I started doing it. And the second reason is I used to chuck a couple nades at the tank, damage that a little bit, then finish it off with the rocket. So moving on to our field upgrade, this is one of the most important features of this class setup. So the assault pack basically allows you to replenish your ammo, and you might be one rocket away from taking down that chopper, and sometimes the assault pack just comes in clutch. So moving on to perks, we have engineer. Engineer also comes in clutch because you're able to see score streaks, equipment, and vehicles a lot easier. It also comes in clutch when you're shooting at UAVs because it has a little red ring around it and it just helps you aim a little bit more. Next we have Scavenger. This one's a bit of a preference. You can use Scavenger or Gearhead. If you're going for like aerial camos, I would say put Gearhead on just because it replenishes assault pack quicker. But if you're running around going for kills, then I would say put Scavenger on. So last for the perks, we have Cold Blooded. This one also comes in clutch because if you are shooting at that attack chopper, the attack chopper is pretty much going to leave you alone. So you've got free reign to shoot as many rockets as you can at that thing. So lastly we have Wildcards and we've got Danger Close. We've only put this on because it gives you a little bit of extra ammo, and that's pretty much it. So moving on to tip number 3 is the map and the game mode. You can go into combined arms, but you're not going to have as much luck as you would with Dirty Bomb. If you do go into combined arms, try and get the Crossroads map because that has the most activity with vehicles and tanks. Luckily for anyone new doing these camos, they have released a new map. It's kind of like a Black Ops 4 style blackout map, and that is called Sanatorium. Now, when I was doing the RPG, Sanatorium did come out, and it was the best thing that could have happened. There's just so much activity with vehicles, boats, and attack choppers, so it made getting those vehicle kills a lot easier. In terms of multiplayer maps, stick to smaller open maps, such as Nuketown, Crossroads, and Raid. Me personally, I had the most luck with Nuketown. It's small, easy to see, and you have consistent score streaks. Now, deciding between core and hardcore can be tricky, and honestly it depends on what camo you are going for. I stuck to hardcore quite often because UAVs I felt like were more common, and the lobbies also weren't as sweaty as normal. But the only thing with that is the score streaks such as attack choppers and care packages, they weren't as common. So switch between those and see what you have the most luck with. So moving on to tip number 4, we have our methods or our game plan. Now, for our spray, classic and psychedelic camos, the kill camos, despite getting the odd few in Dirty Bomb, we mostly got these in our standard multiplayer maps, specifically Nuketown. Now, as I mentioned on my Road to Dark Map episode 1, I discovered a revolutionary solution to doing these camos really quickly and really efficiently, and that is using the melee. At first I started meleeing in core, but obviously it's a 2-hit kill and that wasn't good enough, so I switched back to hardcore, and as I said in my other video, that's when the real fun begins. It became effortless and I started to enjoy doing these camos. I also managed to get a couple cool kills out of it too. Instead of waiting for that player who doesn't have flak jacket on, you just constantly shooting rocket after rocket and they're just sponging them. Create a mix between meleeing and shooting the rockets at the same time. And these two put together is honestly a perfect combination and it worked so well. Now for stripes, having engineer equipped is a huge benefit. As I said, you're able to see vehicles and score streaks a lot easier. So when you are on the go, always be on the lookout for any equipment such as your trophies, your jammers or your bouncing betties, anything like that, as it counts towards this camo. So for Geo, referring back to tip number 3, you're going to want to put the time into Dirty Bomb. Honestly, no one has the time to wait around in standard maps for an RC car to come by, and it doesn't happen that often. So pretty much my method was to float about in the air until my engineer clocked something. I would swoop down on my Batman shit and take them out. And the buzz you get from doing it is class. So with Flora, you always want to be on alert. Always be looking up in the sky, always be looking up for choppers, care packages, anything. And listen to the announcer because he will call it out. If you can, and never miss an opportunity to go for a care package or an attack chopper because like I said, they are a gift. Going for these compared to going for UAVs is honestly so easy. And matched with a cold-blooded perk, going for like attack choppers is so easy. But you do have to get there quickly because there will always be someone else trying to get it as well. Now, aerial kills for me with the RPG was one of the hardest challenges that I had to do. If you are going for UAVs, you will have to lead your shot just a little bit, obviously depending on how far out the UAV is. I found that the UAVs that were further out were the easiest to hit for me, and the ones that were right above my head, I could just never hit them. But honestly, it is a case of you just have to keep shooting those rockets. Because no matter if you think you've discovered the perfect lead, the rocket will always have a mind of its own. So it's a case of sticking that rocket on target and hoping for the best. Now, moving on to number 5, this is my final and most important tip, and that is be patient. This challenge is not for anyone who lacks patience. You need to conjure whatever patience you do have and stick with it, because it's only going to get harder before it gets easier. Start with the camo you find most difficult and work your way through, and maybe you'll be able to have a little bit of enjoyment out of it like I did, kind of like with the double kills. At first I thought they were going to be horrible and I was a little bit dubious going into it, but I found my rhythm and I actually enjoyed doing it like so. I hope this did help. I am working on being more informative and more clear when explaining or sharing information. If you do want to see more tips and tricks for Cold War, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.